today we have a 2008 Hyundai Accent. We're going to talk about fuel trim levels and the way they affect the way the vehicle runs. Some of the sensors that we're going to be talking about today are going to be the throttle position sensor here. This is going to be your idle air control temperature. We're going to be talking about O2 sensors, which one is going to be here. This is going to be sensor 1. Sensor 2 is going to be behind the catalytic converter. You can't see that one right now. So that is another sensor that receives the reading and gives feedback to let the vehicle adjust the fuel trim levels, whether it's going to add more fuel or take away fuel, depending on the situation. Another sensor we're going to talk about is going to be the manifold absolute pressure sensor. It's also another sensor where readings are taken in and everything's taken into consideration to adjust the fuel mixture level. Alright, so we have our scan tool hooked up here. Right now, what you're looking at is the fuel system status. We're showing open loop, long-term fuel trim, and bank 1, which is the only bank we have since it's a 4-cylinder. We're at 2.3%. Intake air temperature, which is one of the sensors that I was pointing out that's going to give our computer feedback. We're showing 131 degrees. Right now, bank 1 sensor 2 is not being used because we are still in open loop. Over here we've got short-term fuel trim, manifold absolute pressure. We've got another short-term fuel trim reading, and we've got the throttle position. Alright, starting off, fuel system status, the open and closed loop status. Open loop is pretty much for when you first start your car up and it's gonna have everything open. It's supposed to, and the system's gonna include the injectors, the computer, all your other sensors, and your O2 sensors. And open loop status, it's not gonna get anything from the O2 sensors because they're not warmed up and it's not quite ready for that yet. Once everything gets up to specs where it should be and it's got the mixture right, it'll go into closed loop status, and then it'll begin using information from the O2 sensors as well. Your long-term fuel trim is going to show not necessarily what's going on right now with your fuel mixture, but more so what's been going on over time. Of course, your intake air temperature is self-explanatory, and your short-term fuel trim is going to be more for the right now, the immediate corrections that the vehicle is making to try and achieve the right air and fuel mixture. Your manifold absolute pressure, that's going to be the pressure in your manifold. It's going to affect how much air and fuel is going to get mixed in. And of course, your throttle position is going to affect that as well. If your throttles open up more, you're going to have more air, so it's going to need to put more fuel in to keep that mixture right. Right now, we should be in closed loop status, but we are in open loop status because we do have our mill light on right now. Haven't pulled those codes to take a look, but I can almost guarantee that they are going to be why we're still in closed loop. It's also going to be why sensor 2 is saying not used. Once we go into closed loop, sensor 2 will be used, as well as O2 sensor 1. Alright, so what we're looking at with our long-term and our short-term fuel trims, we are pretty much on the positive side. You want to get that short-term to 0. As close to 0 as you can keep it. Right now we're on the positive side, which means we are running a little bit lean, which could indicate a vacuum leak, or it could indicate that we're just not getting enough fuel. What we would check from here is we would go in, we could check fuel pressure, and we'll go through and definitely take a look at the codes. But right now, like I said, we're just going to take a look at these numbers and see what we have, just to explain a little bit about the fuel system. So your sensors, your manifold absolute pressure sensor, your throttle position sensor, your intake air temperature, and your O2 sensors, they're all going to give your computer different information. What the computer is going to do with this information is going to take into consideration everything with the car. Your RPMs, the airflow that's going across your mass airflow sensor if your vehicle has one, and it's going to make adjustments to the injector pulse. It's going to make adjustments to how much fuel is going to get sprayed into the manifold to mix with that air, so that you can get that good 14.1 or 14.7 to 1 mixture, which is optimal for engine performance. Like I said, right now we're a bit on the positive side, so we are running a little bit lean, but it's not major right now. What we'll do, like I said, we'll take a look at the codes and we'll go from there, but pretty much that's the function of the fuel system and the information that we have right here.